don't think they'll have enough to overcome the Cowboys' run game in this particular matchup. I think it'll be close as it was last year in both games, but I do expect the Cowboys to pull it out in the end on this one. I would say the Cowboys should win by maybe 4. That leads me to Monday night. Now, as tradition on ESPN, they start off week 1 with 2 Monday night games. So the first one is going to be at 7:10 kickoff. Okay, 7:10. That's New Orleans at Minnesota. Adrian Peterson going back to Minnesota as a member of the Vikings. Drew Brees, Mike Thomas, Brandon Cooks no longer being there, so Mike Thomas should have a bigger role in this offense now. Going up against that vaunted Minnesota defense, who now have Latavius Murray to replace Peterson. They drafted Dalvin Cook. When I look at Minnesota, it's really about how well the offense can protect their quarterbacks. If they can do that, Minnesota can beat anybody. With that defensive unit, they can beat anybody. But I don't think they have enough in this particular game to shut down Drew Brees in that offense. So New Orleans, I think that at least for this particular game, I like New Orleans to come out on top on that one. I don't really expect much as far as their seasonal outlooks for either team. And going back to the Giants and the Cowboys for a second, because I really didn't talk about this either when it came to Philly and Washington. When the NFC East, they're going to beat each other up, but they're not going to have much time to sit on that because they're going to be having to play the NFC West as well, and the AFC West. So you're talking about matchups with Denver, Oakland, Kansas City. None of these will be cakewalks. So I do believe the NFC East will be the strongest division again. I also believe that whoever wins that division, I'm picking the Cowboys to win it because I believe they have the more complete team. But I think between the Cowboys, Giants, and Eagles, 2 of those 3 teams, if not all 3, will at least get into the playoffs. One as a division winner, and then the other 2 potentially as wild cards. Even though I think that last wild card spot will be a battle because I'm going to throw Arizona in the mix in that one. I'm also going to throw Carolina in the mix in that one. I say Carolina because I believe Atlanta should win the South. But yeah, those are the teams I'm looking at. Which speaking of the South, I'll get back to that in a second. Let me go ahead and get to this last matchup, which is the Chargers in another divisional game. Chargers, as the Los Angeles Chargers now, going to Denver to face the Broncos. Now, the no-fly zone is still in effect, but DeMarcus Ware is gone. Shane Ray is hurt. Granted, you still got Wolf there. You still got Von Miller there. That front defensive unit up front for the Broncos, can they help protect that secondary as they have in years past with people being out and hurt? I don't know. And then I look at the Chargers offensively speaking. The Chargers have always had the talent and the strong teams. It's just that they've not been able to hold on to leads. Special teams has failed them. Can they put all that together this year? They can put that together this year. The Chargers might be a sleeper to worry about. Phillip Rivers has not really had bad years. A lot of that stuff even the turnovers that he had last year were like the most in his career, but like most of that was due to like tip passes and miscommunications, stuff like that. Mostly tip passes. So I think the Chargers actually might be in a better suited position right now to at least challenge in the AFC West than Denver is, in my opinion. And I say that because when I look at the offensive side of the ball for Denver, yeah, they got Demaryius Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders. Both of those guys had 1,000-yard seasons last year. But how much better is Trevor Siemian this year? Considering that, he was primarily the starter last year and he had to battle for his spot this year with Paxton Lynch, and then you got Brock Osweiler coming back into a system that he knows. Man, how Denver is going to be teetering around that 8-8 spot again, that 7-9, 8-8 spot, and I think it's going to end up costing them because you look at Denver, you do not know what their offensive identity is. Now, as far as this game is concerned, I'm pulling upset. I'm going with the Chargers. I just think right now, San Diego, at least they know their identity, both offensively and defensively. I think they'll be able to run the football too, which Denver has problems controlling. And yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and take the Chargers to beat the Broncos on the road. That game is at 10:20, 10:30 approximately speaking. There's one game that I did not mention because it has been rescheduled. If you have not heard, the Bucks, excuse me, and the Dolphins. That game has been moved to week 11, which kind of sucks for those teams because of the fact that means that they will basically play 16 weeks straight, no bye. This is effectively their bye week due to Hurricane Irma approaching. So the Bucks have a lot of talent, offensively speaking and defensively speaking now. I just think that they're about a year away. Give O.J. Howard a year. Him, Cameron Brate, that tight end tandem. I think they're going to be basically what the Patriots were when they had a young Gronk and then Aaron Hernandez. Yeah. Throw it in with Deshaun Jackson, Mike Evans, Winston in his third year. If Winston can stay away from the stupid mistakes that he tends to make sometimes, trying to make a play when it doesn't need to be made, they'll be okay. Other than that, probably not so much. Run game is an issue. Pass defense is an issue. And then when I look at the Dolphins, Jay Cutler's their quarterback. I don't have much faith in that team beyond that. If Jay Ajayi has a great season, cool. If they can play the run better, great. They did get some guys to play the run better, but as I look at it, from a standpoint, they got Jay Cutler to replace the injured Tannehill, who's going to be out for the season, I believe. Which doesn't say much to me because that guy does not believe in winning. But yeah, that is my picks for week 1. I'm probably going to do another video tomorrow because I want to get into talking about UFC 215. Johnson versus Borg, and then Nunes, versus Shevchenko. That matchup, Ray Borg and Demetrius Johnson, is underrated, but Demetrius Johnson has a chance to break Anderson Silva's record of title defenses. So it's definitely important for me to check that fight out, to cover that fight. So you guys will be hearing from me, if not tomorrow, then early Saturday, in preparations for UFC 215. In the meantime, I hope you guys enjoyed the game tonight. I hope for all my Florida people, my Georgia people, South Carolina people, Virginia people, please do your best to prepare for Hurricane Irma. Even if you're going to be staying in, hunkered down, make sure you have enough water, food, perishable canned goods and whatnot. Make sure you have enough stuff to get through in case you lose power. If you do plan on evacuate as soon as possible. I know at least for Jacksonville, I'm looking at some reports saying that we might get hit around late Saturday, early Sunday. But we do expect a lot of rainfall tomorrow. So if you got stuff to get in order or stuff you need to protect, get that in order now. Do not wait. Okay? That's all I need to say about that. Until then, y'all stay positive. Y'all stay strong. I'll holler at y'all later. Woos.